Do you know well the city you live in? Do you know the people that the streets were named after? Look around. Maybe somebody like famous musician, artist or poet lived opposite this building. As you know, Grodno has always got fame for its outstanding people who contributed greatly in order to improve Belarusian culture and science.
Today we would like to tell you about the heroine whose fate is strongly intertwined with the city on the Neman. Although 100 years has been since her death, she has always been a part of our city, covered with legends and myths. Her life could be the basis of the novel. That wasn't less interesting than the novels which she had written. She has been nominated for the Nobel Prize twice. Nevertheless, her friends, who were writers too, got this prize. All her life she was looking for love and waiting for a special meeting for years, and had repeatedly been burned. She was looking for support and took care of others, helping friends and just strangers. She loved Grodno with all her heart and remained here forever, as a person, as a writer, as a monument to courage, chasteness, generosity of a fragile woman that fought for her country.
Elżbieta Pawlowska was the younger daughter of a rich landlord and a lawyer Benedict Pawlowski and his second wife. Eliza Rzeszka was born on the 6th of June, 1841, in the family estate Milkovщина near Grodno. Her mother Františka remarried after her husband's death, and the family moved to Rumlovo, near Grodno.
Today, the territory of the estate Rumlovka is divided into two parts by the bridge over the Neman and the motorway. There is a large meadow near the project of Gymnasium number 1, named after academician Yefimij Fyodorovich Karski. It used to be Gdansk's mother all that time. The construction haven't remained. Only maple alley that led to the house was preserved partially.
Since she was 10, Eliza brought up in the monastery in Warsaw, where she was until 1857. She met and made friends with the famous Polish poet Maria Wasiliowska there. In the monastery, Eliza got the nickname Writer. When she was 16 years old, she returned to Grodno. She stayed with her mother, who lived in Brigitskaya Street. Near the bell tower, opposite the church of the Annunciation Monastery of St. Bridget in the 1850s, there was the house of Kamil Gladko. Since September 1857 till January 1858, Eliza Pawlowska, the future famous writer Eliza Rzeszka, lived there.
Now there is a modern building here. The new address of the monastery is 24 Karl Marx Street. Františka Vidacka lived in the apartment with 9 rooms and a large living room, which was decorated with icons from Europe.
During their residence in Karl Marx Street, her mother organized secular receptions and had special guests. Among them, there were such well-known personalities as Kalixt Rzeszka with his wife, priest Alexander Gintovt. Perhaps in that house in Brigitskaya Street, Elizabeth Pawlowska met Peter Rzeszka. When they got married, Elizabeth Pawlowska was a little more than 16 and a half years old, and Peter Rzeszka was 33. She was exactly 2 times younger than her soulmate. It wasn't love at first sight. Eliza dreamt of break free of her mother's control. Eliza and her husband moved to Ludvinovo in Koprin district, now a village in Dragice, where in 1862, with her husband's younger brother, she created a school for 20 children. The marriage wasn't happy, so she kept herself occupied making different creative things. She had participated in the debates of Zemsky committees to carry out socio-economic reforms of the village. Social work had become one of the causes of discord with her husband. Eliza Rzeszka left her husband and moved to Warsaw. On the 29th of May in 1885, the fire started in Grodno, which destroyed the major part of the old city. The fire started at about 9 a.m. when the wooden house of Gimnazia, which is situated in Troitskaya Street near the schoolyard, went up in flames. Strong wind and dry weather allowed the fire quickly spread to the central part of the city. The fire quickly consumed the neighborhoods and raged until 4 o'clock in the morning. Most of the buildings in Купеческая, Полицейская, Гороховая, Бригитская, Песочная, Жандармская, Соборная, Калужанская Street and some buildings in Paradная Square burned down. The house where Eliza Zhezhka lived on Senная Street was destroyed by fire. The library of the writer and 2 manuscripts were severely affected. She had almost lost all her possessions. After total disaster, as well as in 1863, Zhezhka lived other people's interests. Since the early days, she was one of the leaders of the committee of fire victims. From early morning till late night, she was going around to the fire victims, taking notes of their complaints and urgent needs with other members of the committee. They brought clothes, tea, medicines, and other things. Throughout her life, she had been trying to help the poor and disadvantaged, and for many years her name had been a symbol of virtue and cultural activities.
After the fire in 1885, Eliza Zhezhka lived on the corner of today's 15 Karbusheva Street and Vasilka Street. In 1976, it was a house known as the House of Schlegel. It is interesting to note that in the period from 1957 to 1960, the famous poet Mikhail Vasylyuk lived there. The following writer's residence was in Polivaya Street. She lived in the house named the House of Hamred. The house was perfect for a variety of activities. The entrance to the house was directly from the street. There were beautiful low stairs, a cozy living room, a cabinet, a dining room and a bedroom. There was also enough space for growing plants in the yard, and Eliza Zhezhka could make her famous herbarium there. She was visited by Belarusian poet and painter, such as František Bogušević, Michal Elvira Andreoli. It is 13 Karbusheva Street in its place now.
In 1894, after 20 years of friendship with Nagorsky, when his wife was dead, she married him. Since that time, Eliza lived in his house in Sadovaya Street. This house was visited by a future Nobel Prize laureate for literature Vladislav Raymond.
In 1976, a wooden house was dismantled. The new house was rebuilt 10 meters from the roadway. It was made of silicate blocks and looked exactly like a real one. Only some of the internal elements were taken from the old house.
In 1910, the writer was gone. According to urban legend, when the old writer was ill, she was very disturbed by the noise of the road near her house. Therefore, people strapped paving stone road with hay. Thus, they expressed their respect for this incredible woman.
The memory of Eliza Zhezhka is still alive. The street where she had lived was named after her name. The monument, designed by Verich, moved out of the park to a new location. Since 1929, it has decorated our town.
The house where the writer lived her last 16 years was restored. It became a favorite place for writers, journalists and young people. The youth library is located in her house now. The team of the library has done a great deal to collect valuable historical materials about the life and work of Eliza Zhezhka. There is an exposition which includes her photographs, paintings, books, pictures and herbarium.